Andrea at our Work Apart Studio, and today I'm going to show you how to collage or decoupage scrapbook paper onto the surface of a paper-mache letter and get it nice and smooth. So the first thing that you need is you need to pick out some scrapbook paper. I've chosen this pattern that's out of a paper pad by K & Company. I like choosing paper out of paper pads just because it takes the thought process out of picking paper. I know that all these papers coordinate together, so if I'm doing a word like I'm doing the word piece, then I know that all the papers coordinate together. So you pick your scrapbook paper, you've got your paper-mache letter, and we're going to be using Claudine Helmuth's Studio Multi-Medium in a matte finish. This is the same thing as soft gel medium in a matte finish. Collage Podge would work, Mod Podge would work. I prefer this Claudine Helmuth Studio Multi-Medium in a matte finish. It's my favorite. So you also need a pair of scissors and a pencil, and I'm using an old Starbucks card, or you can use an old hotel key card, credit card, anything with just a nice hard edge. I don't use sponge brush or paintbrush with a multi-medium. It just ends up wasting a whole lot of the stuff, and I prefer the finish that I get with the card. So I'll show you that. The first thing that you need to do is take your paper-mache letter, line it up behind your paper. If there's a certain part of the pattern that you want, you can kind of manipulate it so that you make sure that you get the part of the pattern that you want on there. You're going to flip it over and trace your letter on the back side of the paper. Do that really quickly because I do want to show you how to cut curves really easily and smoothly. So what you want to do is trace around the entire letter with your pencil. And then when you start cutting around your curves, turn your paper rather than your scissors. So see how I'm turning my paper? That's a trick I learned a long time ago, that when you're cutting curves, just turn your paper rather than your scissor. And then you get nice smooth edges. I've already trimmed the letter out to save a little bit of time. And so the next thing that you want to do is, again, make sure that I've got it on the right side here with this letter. What I want to do is I want to apply the gel medium or glue or adhesive, whatever it is that you're using, to the back side of the paper and the front side of the paper-mache letter, or whatever it is that you're gluing your paper onto. You want glue on both sides. So we're going to trim our card because that's a little bit too wide to fit into there. So we're going to trim this down. We're going to dip it in, and we're going to apply the glue nice and evenly to the back side of the paper. Notice as soon as I start applying this glue to the back side of the paper, it starts to bow a little bit. That's good. We want that to happen because that means that the moisture is soaking into the paper, and that's what's going to give us a nice smooth finish on the surface. So keep applying the glue. Don't worry if it's a little bit thick. That's going to come in handy a little bit later. Just get it evenly. You don't want any dry spots. Just get it evenly spread over the entire back side of your paper. All right, so see how it's curling up there? Again, that's good. Set that aside. I'm going to do the same thing to the surface of the paper-mache letter. I'm going to apply the glue. Can you use sponge brush or paintbrush? Absolutely. Like I said, this is just kind of a thrifty trick that I picked up that makes you not waste any of the glue. I'm not washing any of this down the drain because it's getting stuck inside of my sponge brush or paintbrush. I'm using every bit of it, and I get a nice smooth finish by applying my glue or my gel medium with a card. I use this method for applying all of my collage papers to any surface pretty much. Canvas, wood, whatever it is that I'm applying collage paper to, scrapbook or art journal pages, I always use a key card. Okay, so there I've got nice, and you see it's a little bit gloppy in some areas. I'll show you why that doesn't matter in just a second. So you take your letter and apply it to the surface. Make sure that it's lined up. When we were cutting out our paper, our letter, we were cutting it right on the line. We didn't want to cut it too big or too small. I think I've got this turned around the wrong way. Let's see. No, I guess that's the right way. I guess that's the only way. We didn't want to cut it too big or too small because we didn't want the paper mache showing from behind. Another thing that I would do beforehand, if I wanted to paint this outside edge, I would do that before I applied the paper. Because if I'm trying to paint this, I might get paint on the paper. You may like that look, but if you don't want that look, you want to paint your outside edges before you apply your paper. So now I'm smoothing this down with the card, and notice, remember what I said about it having extra glue? That's just fine, because that extra glue is what we're going to use to seal down the surface as well. So we're using the card, we're scraping down the surface, we're getting that excess all around on the top. If I've got any paper that's hanging over, I want to wait till this completely dries because you cannot get a clean cut on wet paper. So you want to let it completely dry, and then you just take a little X-Acto blade and clean that up. If you want more of a rustic or a distressed look, you can actually take sandpaper after it's completely dry and sand it off of the surface, and that'll give you kind of a rough, distressed look around the edges as well. So there you have it. That's all there is to it to get a nice smooth edge. Let's see, goes this way. Nice smooth paper on the surface of your paper mache letter. Oh, no it doesn't. It goes this way. There we go. So this year I'm working on the word peace, and so I hope that you have a great day and watch our next video.